Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the FEG PC Truck Series, where tonight we have quite the doubleheader. Up first, we're at the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway, the Coliseum, for 100 laps around the half-mile high-banked circuit. As always, on behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, I'm James East, bringing the action 1080p, 60 frames a second, as we head out for single-car qualifying. Adam Schoen out on track in the number 65 Ford F-150. But right now, it is the odds-on fan favorite Matt Lee in the 04 machine sitting on top of provisional pole. But let's see what's going to happen, as we've got about 30 drivers making their way out here today at Bristol. As the drivers are kicking off segment 3, the grids keep getting bigger and bigger, and the action keeps getting better and better. So we're going to be looking forward to see what happens at the doubleheader. Again, we're starting off at Bristol, and then we are going to Las Vegas for the second round of the doubleheader here tonight. Last week for segment 3, we had Cody Mccauley picking up the win at the Richmond 100. As on camera, Adam Schoen able to click off a 14.91, good enough for a 5th place run. Let's see who else is out on track. Matthew Curry's making his way out and about in the number 51. Well, live time and scoring shows 51. His truck shows 54. His truck shows 51. As always, thank you so much as well to our viewers across the world that tune in week in and week out, supporting their favorite drivers, their favorite league, and their favorite broadcaster. We couldn't do it without you guys. And it is always a good time here with my FEG PC family. Curry in and out with a 15.28. That's good enough for 24th here today. We've got Joe Burgess out on track as well, rolling, seeing what he can click off in the final minute of qualifying. His fastest so far, 15.08. He's got to get down to a 14.81 to challenge your current pole owner of Matt Lee. And let's see what updates to for Burgess, a 15.37, so he does not improve on his 15.08 out here today. We've got 3 drivers that have not put down qualifying times. Brad Bothwell, Michael Newbrough, and Kenneth McCullough Jr. all not putting down times yet out of the 30 drivers that made it here today. Only about 30 seconds left in qualifying, which is enough for 2 hot laps here at Bristol. As Joe Burgess is going to bring it back into the hauler. Stephen Page hanging out after qualifying 14th in the number 1 machine. He clicked off a 14.99. Now, in a 100-lap race, around 15-second lap times, that should schedule us for 25 minutes, barring any cautions, but we know how that's going to go. At least if I was a betting man, I would say that's how I know how it's going to go. But let's go ahead and take a look at tonight's grid. Starting on pole, Matt Lee in the 04 machine. Cody Mccauley starting 2nd. Austin Reedy starting 3rd. Michael J. Johnson will be starting 4th on the grid here today. Adam Schoen starting 5th. Jeremy Coors starting 6th. We've got Tristan Bailey starting 7th. John Olette starting 8th. Chad Ross starting 9th. Eric Parks starting 10th here today. Brad Herman starting 11th. Cale Seaman starting 12th. Robert Neller starting 13th. Stephen Page starting 14th. Buddy Pitt starting 15th. John Mollahan starting 16th. Donald Ray starting 17th. Jeffrey Radke 18th. Tyler Millette starting 19th. Joe Burgess starting 20th. Fan favorite Jay Dargett starting 21st. Martin starting 22nd. Brandon Barber starting 23rd. Travis Anderson starting 24th here today. Matthew Curry starting 25th. James Kaufman starting 26th. Jose Medina starting 27th. Brad Bothwell starting 28th. Michael Newbrough starting 29th. Kenneth starting 30th. Kenneth McCullough Jr. And then Anthony Reiner in the number 30, 81 machine, will be starting 31st to round out tonight's grid. But what a stacked front row do we have here. Matt Lee, Cody Mccauley, 2 of the most winningest drivers here for the FEG PC Truck Series. We'll be doing battle here at the Coliseum shortly for 100 laps. Not sure what we're going to see here as far as cautions go. If I had to take a guess, I would say we'll probably see that caution flag fly within the first 5 laps. And then after that, drivers will be able to get in a bit of a groove and a little bit more single file. But we're getting ready to roll them out here at Bristol as the drivers shift into gear. Joe Burgess returns back to pit lane. Not sure if he had a last-minute mechanical or what may have happened to Burgess. And we're going to roll them out here at Bristol for our opening laps. Get them warmed up, sighted in, and then away we go. 30 drivers here today, guaranteed to be an exciting time. It's going to be an exciting night, really. 30 drivers, double header. That is a good way to spend a Monday evening, if you ask me, ladies and gentlemen. Again, your front row, Matt Lee, Cody Mccauley, Reedy and Johnson, your second row, and Coors and Schoen on the third row here today. 100 laps for our competitors. These guys only have one tire set here today with a 13 incident limit. So that's going to be something these guys are going to have to keep an eye on. They have 65% fuel allotment and 1 quick repair here at Bristol. That way if you find yourself involved in a bit of a moment, your night's not going to be completely over. Pace car is in. Matt Lee with a big launch in the 04 machine, gets it going early. As behind him, Cody Mccauley's got a lot of company with Michael J. Johnson as well as Austin Reedy. Mccauley takes back over second place. Johnson trying to get slotted in the number 39 machine, picking up 1 spot early on for Reedy. Looks like Johnson's going to run that mid to high groove while the rest of the field seems to be running low on the track. Burgess able to get back out on track. Unfortunately, he's going to be losing 10 positions early on here tonight. Starting from pit road, about 1 lap down. Anthony Reiner, the number 81 machine, is a DNS as well, not quite able to get in on time. Your race leader, Matt Lee, clicks off a fast lap, but it's Cody Mccauley sets the pace with a 14.89 as he's getting very close to the back bumper of Lee's 04 Toyota Tundra. It is Toyota running 1, 2, and 3 early on, with Chevrolet running 4th and with Austin Reedy, and a Ford in 5th with Jeremy Coors. We may have an on-track incident as Brad Herman shows us a crash. He's on the inside apron as our leaders come by. Take a quick look at that one. And see just what happened to Brad Herman, number 85 machine. Maybe got a little bit of help there. Spins it down the apron, but the caution does not come out as he is off the racing service, and we can keep it green so far at Bristol. We got Foot and Dean cheering on Tyler Millette. Derek Meek also joining us here today. He's cheering on the number 27 machine of Tyler Millette as well. So good to see Tyler bringing the fans out in force here today at the virtual Bristol. Right now on screen, you're watching the battle for the lead. Matt Lee, Cody Mccauley pushing it hard. Now, a pretty safe assumption that they'll come in around the lap 50 mark for fuel in their 1 set of tires. I can't imagine if we do have a caution here today, anybody's going to use that set of tires prematurely. Again, only 1 set available in pit road here today. As already Lee and McCauley are going to have traffic to deal with. I believe that's going to be Michael Newbrough on the number 6 machine. Who's going to very suddenly find himself with some very fast company. No, I believe that's going to be Joe Burgess, the number 19 machine, who's going to go another lap down. It is Burgess as the leaders of Lee and Mccauley swinging around the outside. Michael Johnson still in third, Reedy fourth. Coors our top 5 here today so far. And these guys are absolutely humming. And the lap time starting to fall off ever so slightly, with the tire wear already becoming a factor, only 14 laps in. On average, these guys are about 2 to 3 tenths off their fastest times. But nobody's going to worry about tire saving too early in the run, as they want to avoid any of the mess behind them if at all possible. Because Lee and Mccauley are putting in work up front. They've got about a 7/10 second advantage over third place Michael Johnson, while Johnson's got about a half second over fourth and fifth place Reedy and Coors. Buddy Pitts making moves back here in 15th. He's side by side. I believe that's going to be Robert Neller. No, Donald Ray in the number 5 machine. Right behind Buddy, you've also got Robert Neller, Jay Darger, Tyler Millette. All these guys running 15th to about 19th here today in a pretty stacked field. Herman, the 85 machine, is going to come down pit road, maybe get some repairs done on his truck. As these guys are battling very, very hard for that 16th spot. It's a 3-way battle between Neller, Pitts, and Darger. Oh, just like that, right in time. Buddy Pitts gets into the back of Neller, and that'll bring out the first caution of the night, and unfortunately a bit of a pile-up, as that is going to be an easy one to call. That was just too much front bumper. Neller involved, Martin involved, Kaufman, Curry, Lee, Mccauley, everybody having to check up heavily. Let's take a quick look at that one and see what may have happened. Although we, ladies and gentlemen, we know what happened. We saw that one. Number 26 of Pitts just dives in a little bit too deep, gets into the back of Robert Neller. But watch this. It's going to collect a few more drivers before it's all said and done, as the gang is all here. The rest of the field having to really come up on the brakes to avoid getting into it. You see Matthew Lee on the right side of your screen, but my oh my, they're still crashing back here. Total lack of patience from the drivers, just slamming into each other for truthfully no good reason there. So it'll still be Lee and Mccauley on the front row. Johnson running third, Coors fourth, Ouellette fifth. So a few of our top 5 drivers may be involved in that pile up here early on Bristol. Anderson, Bothwell, McCullough, Curry, Medina all come down pit road, as well as Neller and Martin, who are going to be there for a while, I believe, getting those repairs done. Looks like everyone's staying out here. We've got Country Chick joining us tonight in the spectator area, cheering on Tyler Millette. Millette in the number 27 Ford F-150. He's up 4 spots so far here today and has worked his way up into 15th. We're going to get them formed up, double file, getting ready to go back out. Again, it's Lee Mccauley on the front row here. Away they go. Lee with that patented start. Michael J. Johnson's going to challenge for second with Cody Mccauley as he looks to the inside. Not able to carry quite as much speed running that middle groove such as Mccauley. It's really tough to get the truck to put the power down when you run that far bottom groove, trying to make a way through without pinching off your competitor as you drift up the racetrack. As we've also got Jeremy Kors feeling the pressure from Adam Schoen in the battle for fourth place. These guys are absolutely hauling the mail here today. Look at this, Eric Parks also wanting to get in the mix here and move his way up. Parks is up 4 spots into 6th early on in tonight's race. Again, one of 2 races tonight. We're starting off at Bristol for 100 laps, and then we're going straight to Las Vegas. Not sure how long the delay is going to be between the 2 races tonight. That will be the deciding factor if we go completely offline for 15-20 minutes, or if we just leave the show running. Tristan Bailey, who's up 1 spot, also trying to work on Parks' number 12 machine to push his number 24 Chevrolet inside the top 5. Always good seeing our friend Ward join us in the chat. Used to seeing him every Friday night, but good to see him out here supporting the broadcast on a Monday. As what's going on back here is we see Chad Ross swapping for positions with John Olette and Austin Reedy. Reedy down 7 spots, currently running 10th here tonight. I'm wondering if Reedy maybe have a little bit of damage from that early incident we saw that brought out the caution. And more side-by-side action. Chad Ross trying to make his way through John Olette 062. Reedy and Page trying to follow. Not a lot of room here at Bristol in the half-mile high banks. As we saw, I believe it was Tristan Bailey, number 24 machine, leave a little bodywork paint on the outside wall, giving the old patented Bristol tail tap. Bailey doing his best to get around Parks as well as Schoen. This is the 3-way battle for 4th on screen. Oh my, look at that stack of drivers. Jeffrey Radke right in the middle of it trying to chase down Stephen Page. You've also got Austin Reedy, Chad Ross, Jay Darger, and Donald Ray in this clump of drivers running 10 through 15. Very, very close. Now as the tire wear becomes a factor for these guys, it's going to be tougher and tougher to make any big advances. We are already 40% of the way through tonight's race. Expecting drivers to use that 1 set of tires anytime after lap 50. But we've also seen the fast and the experienced guys, the Matt Lees, the Cody Mccauley's, the Michael J. Johnsons here at FEG PC. If they have the fuel, they will stay out as long as they possibly can. Radke, number 51, he's up 7 spots, still trying to find a way through John Olette, and Stephen Page goes to the inside of Olette. Trying to follow Page through here. Can he get the power down? As it looks like Olette is able to carry a little bit more speed. Page goes very wide in the number 1 machine. These guys have got to be careful here because you've got very familiar experts that are used to chasing down guys. Chad Ross, Jay Gardner, watching this battle unfold, watching the guys burn up a whole lot of tires in this battle for 9. Radke gets clear of Olette, but that's going to cost him about 0.7 of a second that he has now lost to Stephen Page in the number 1 machine. Page cutting through lap traffic, trying to work the number 97 of Jeremy Kors. As more lap traffic for the guys to play with, Jeffrey Radke is caught up to the back bumper of Page as well. Making some big moves here. Radke's up 8 spots so far. Our current hard charger inside the top 10. But that run is going to get interrupted by a caution flag where it's going to be Cale Seaman involved in an incident. Let's take a look because odds are usually some other people get collected here. Seaman in the number 17 machine. Ooh, I'm not sure if he got hooked by, is that Dargert? I think it was. Let's try and get another camera angle here. Nah, just drifted wide in front of Dargert. I can't really fault number 57 on that. I think the number 17 of Seaman thought he was clear, and unfortunately just wasn't the case. That is going to bring the majority of the field down pit road, as it is only Reedy, McCullough, Bothwell, and Medina that stay out. No, I take it back. All these guys came in a lap 22. It looks like the only driver that may have taken tires in that early lap 22 pit stop would be Austin Reedy in the number 1 machine. He was in his pit stall for 15.5 seconds compared to McCullough, Bothwell, and Medina. They were in and out in less than 7 seconds. So a few drivers choosing track position over all else here. As now we've got Newbrough, Dargert, Burgess, Seaman all in pit lane. We've also got Martin, who's been in pit lane for about 11 minutes now, facing heavy repairs. And that will bring out the caution for the second time here at Bristol. Now we are past the halfway mark. Most drivers that came in on lap 50, which was the majority of the field, appear to have taken their 1 tire set for the night. But your top 4 drivers, except for Reedy, were unknown on him. But we know McCullough, Bothwell, Medina did not take 4 fresh Goodyears on their last pit stop. We're going to get him gridded up, send him out past the halfway mark here today. Away they go. Reedy gets a great launch. But let's see what happens here. Is now you're going to have a whole lot of drivers on mixed tire sets, as Lee is going to quickly get around the number 9 of Bothwell, as well as McCullough Jr. riding that outside line with those fresh tires. And the yellow flag will come out already. Not quite sure where the crash was. We did not see it pop up on live time and in scoring. Could be one of those instances where iRacing says there needs to be a caution and there was no need. We're going to check on, see if Millette was maybe involved in that one. Oh, looking up ahead of Millette. Who was that? Let's, oh, that was a lot of people. We're going to watch that one once more. I think we're going to have the perfect onboard here with maybe Donald Ray. Oh, yes. Ray involved in that one as well. Gets a little bit of a tail tap. But as we are under caution once more, we're going to run a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more action here at Bristol. And we are back for more action. It's still going to be Reedy and Lee, the front row. McCullough and Johnson, your second row. Bothwell and McCauley, your third row. As we try and get them formed up. I think some drivers still having issues out on track, getting everything pointed in the right direction. .40 laps left to go. It's going to be 39 as they cross the line. Now keep an eye on Lee. He's been absolutely getting great starts all day, but Reedy is the guy who'll be setting the pace here. And it looks like Reedy has a bit of a bobble. He immediately goes wide before the start and finish line and throw a block on Lee. Not sure how much that effort is going to be worth as Lee is coming out on fresh tires, as well as Michael J. Johnson currently running third, Cody Mccauley fourth. Really, most people inside the top 5 right now came in on lap 50. And we're about to see what those new tires can do. So you've got guys such as Reedy, such as Ken McCullough Jr., Brad Bothwell, Jose Medina. They're going to wait for a caution, hopefully before lap 75. And then they will come in, take their tires, and try and jet past everybody. We'll see how that works, because Matt Lee just put down the fastest lap of the race with a 14.84, running strong out front. Less than a quarter of a minute is what it takes for these professionals to make their way around Bristol. As now you're watching the battle for third. Reedy trying to hold on to Mccauley. But Mccauley with those new tires is going to be blasted through. Let's see if Tristan Bailey in the number 24 machine can get through Mccauley as well. Through Reedy as Reedy goes wide. That's going to allow Bailey to pick up that 4th place spot. And here we go. The caution comes out as Parks and Radke involved in an incident. Let's see who else. Just another case of two trucks trying to occupy the same spot. And oh my goodness! That was absolutely violent. That was Jeffrey Radke, who has left the building and entered pits the most aggressive way I think I've ever seen. We're going to try and get another look at that because it was absolutely spectacular. Watch Radke in the number 51 machine. I think he gets bumped just ever so slightly by the number 12 of Parks. I think it's Parks and possibly... No, that was Parks and Radke, but watch this. Radke just hits the perfect angle, goes over the safety car, over the pit lane wall, and he's going to take a moment to reorient himself because he has no idea who or where he is here today. But man, oh man, that's probably one of the best hits we've seen so far this season. Now an update on Tyler Millette, the number 27 machine. He's been in his pit stall for about a minute now, trying to hammer out some repairs on the number 27 Ford F-150. But he will still be 22nd on track, only down 3 spots from where he started here today. Man, oh man, what a night it has been. A race that was scheduled for 25 minutes, running just a tad bit longer, as we are not quite 3/4 of the way through tonight's main event. Main event 1 of 2, I should say. Now let's see, McCullough still has not come into pit lane, neither has Brad Bothwell or Austin Reedy, still valuing track position more than those fresh tires. Gotta say, I'm a little surprised seeing some of the drivers not coming in for tires that have not yet so far. With just one guy's opinion, I was kind of expecting some of the guys to come in for that final set of tires with 30 laps left to go. Maybe they're banking on one more caution. Here we go. It's going to be Lee and Johnson on the front row. Both drivers on the same tire strategy here today. Lee gets a great start. Johnson's going to follow in tow, but keep an eye on McCauley, number 62 machine. We know he has the pace to run up front pretty much everywhere he goes. But we've got a lot of Titans in the top 5. It's Lee, Johnson, McCauley, Bailey, Reedy. A lot of familiar names you're used to hearing season in and season out. Update on Tyler Millette. He did get back out on track. He's going to be at least 1 lap down here. But with the way tonight's going, the cautions will possibly keep coming out. As Joe Burgess was just involved in a crash, but got it back down pit lane before the caution would fly. Had somebody else peeling out of the way there, not quite sure who it was. It's still Lee out front. He's got about 2 tenths ahead of Michael J. Johnson. Cody Mccauley also within a couple of tenths of a second of these lead 2 drivers. All 4 drivers inside the top 5. The top 4 drivers all came in a lap 50. It appears they all took 4 fresh tires as well as a full tank of gas to make it to the end. And those new tires just so important here at Bristol. Mccauley looks for a way around Michael Johnson, but nowhere to go as lap traffic was sitting there. Not a lot of places to go, even as lap traffic as Eric Parks held the high line. But here comes Mccauley looking at the inside line of Johnson. Gets a bit of a wiggle, not able to put the power down of the number 62 Toyota. Such a tough track to make any big moves on without using that front bumper, and no one wants to be the guy that crashes out a friend. Also running the top 3 here today for the FEG PC Truck Series. Less than 20 laps to go for our competition. Lee starting to get a little bit of a gap over Johnson and Mccauley. He's extended to about 4 tenths of a second. As Mccauley doing everything in his power to find a way through here. Tyler Millette, the number 27 machine, yields the high line to the race leaders, trying to get them through as quickly as he can. Not wanting to get tied up in a crash. Millette still running 20th after having a bit of a tough time. Johnson pushes very wide here. That may give Mccauley a chance to catch up. Johnson's searching for the fastest groove. What's going to allow him to carry the most speed as the tire wear starts to become a factor. He's been on this set of tires for 35 laps now, as well as everyone else inside the top 4. This is the point of the run where you can see if anybody saved any tires for some last-ditch effort at the end. Mccauley's in a tough spot here as that inside line tends to burn up those tires just a little bit more. But the caution will once again come out. I wonder if that was, what, it could be Curry. Or possibly James Kaufman. Let's see what happened, what may have happened between Curry and Kaufman here. Ooh, Curry gets hit on the inside line. Is that Kaufman? No, that's the number 48 of Travis Anderson, who I believe may have hit the incident limit here. Now Kaufman, for as bad as that crash was, a perfect 360 gets pointed back in the right direction. Are we going to see guys such as Austin Reedy, Brad Bothwell, Buddy Pitts, Kevin McCullough Jr. come down pit lane? Jose Medina also has not pitted since lap 22. Do they have a set of tires in reserve? Or did they already use their 2 right side tires and now they're stuck on the equipment they have? But it's going to be a final 9-lap shootout here at Bristol. And then we're going to get our drivers ready for the second round of the night at Las Vegas. And there will be 2 green-white checker attempts here today as well for our competitors. So if we cannot finish under green during the regular drive time, the guys will have 2 attempts at overtime before we end it under caution here today. Now Jose Medina, Brad Bothwell, Cody Mccauley Jr. did come down pit road. And yes, they are all 3 going to take 4 tires and get back out there. Brad Bothwell in and out of his pit stall in 14.98 seconds. Medina was a 14.48, and McCullough Jr. with a 15.10. They will still be on the lead lap, running 13th, 14th, 15th here today. So it's going to be a 7-lap shootout. By the time it's all said and done, we're going to get them formed up, double file, and drop the green flag, possibly for the final time here today. It's our 5th caution in a 100-lap race. Our top 5 really haven't had too many big issues besides avoiding crashes as they come back around. Again, it only takes 15 seconds to make their way around the circuit. That is not a lot of time to avoid any shenanigans if you find yourself possibly involved. Green flag is out. Matt Lee with another great start. Michael J. Johnson still holding on to second. Cody Mccauley third. And behind them, you've got Tristan Bailey, Austin Reedy. You've got Chad Ross in the mix. A lot of the usual names and suspects up here charging hard. Only 6 laps left to go for our competition. Chad Ross makes his way around Austin Reedy using the outside line. I'm not sure if he's able to make it stick here as the guys are so close on pace. Yes, Ross does move his way up into the top 5 into the number 38, the black and blue number 38. Mccauley putting the pressure on Johnson for second. It's going to be 3 laps to go as they cross the line. Still anybody's guess on what's going to happen. Mccauley doing his best to make the inside line work. Johnson committing to the outside line for the last 20 laps or so. Trying to carry a little bit more speed, make those tires last for him. But he's got to know Mccauley is charging hard on that inside line. Such a tough pass to make stick. It's 2 laps left to go. Lee still out front. Johnson second. But Mccauley is doing everything in his power to take away a second place from the number 39. It's Toyota running 1, 2, and 3 here at Bristol. And it looks to me like Johnson may be able to hold on to it here. We have another crash. Austin Reedy goes for a ride, the number 11 machine. But the checkered flag will fly. It's going to be Matt Lee, Michael Johnson, and Cody Mccauley with a great race in the top 3. Let's take a quick look at the instant replay, see what happened to Reedy as we get the rest of our drivers up here in the mix for the podium interviews. Let's see what happens to Reedy in the number 11 machine. He may come together with Chad Ross. Yeah, it looks like Ross came down. And that'll unfortunately end the night a little bit sour for the number 11. We're going to go back live. Matt Lee's going to burn it down. Now, we just got word from Race Control that the Las Vegas server is going to open at 9:25, so we'll be able to roll straight into it. as we're going to get things queued up for our interviews here. Up first, we've got Cody Mccauley in the number 62 machine. Cody, whoops. It'd help if I unmuted my mic for Cody. Cody, up first, we've got you in the number 62 machine, bringing home a third. That was a wild night, my friend.
Yeah, man. The track position wasn't our friend there. We had a decent piece. I don't think we could have done anything with Matt, but felt like we had something for Mr. Johnson there. Try to get up there and get a fight for second. It was pretty close here at the end, but track position killed us. Was one of the better Bristol races. I thought that we were going to see a lot more cautions, and overall wasn't too bad. Just the long runs were fun. Kind of an animal to drive that thing, but us all taking tires there and kind of getting shoved to the high side hurt us. We need to be a little better when it starts, but we'll take some notes for the next one, and we'll be back strong in Vegas.
Now, Cody, we saw a couple different lines getting worked. You seem to be happiest on the inside groove. Why was that compared to maybe that middle or outside line we saw guys such as Johnson running here today?
A lot of it had to do with brake bias. I probably had a little too much brake dialed in to go up top. The racetracks were rough up there, so every time you try to drag the brake, it just drives the nose in the ground. So a lot harder line to run. And then once I got back to third, it was just kind of trying to find some clean air. So trying to work the bottom, couldn't really get the run off, slid up to the top, couldn't really do it. So kind of settled in a groove and a half up and was able to make up a little bit of speed, but just didn't find it soon enough to get around Mike.
Well, Cody, again, great run tonight, bringing home a third. We've got Las Vegas next. We'll let you get back out to it because I know the lobby's about to open here in the next few minutes. But before I let you sign off, my friend, and celebrate, who would I give a shout-out to that's cheering you and the number 62 machine on this season?
Oh, man, Delta 9 PA. Check them out on Instagram, 62 Designs. Y'all hit them up Facebook, Instagram. Do paint schemes and whatnot. Everybody over at 62 Designs Racing getting us ready. Carl Thompson's in the box for us again tonight. So we're going to me and Carl are going to try to do some strategy, see if we can't scoop us up a win here at Vegas.
Well, Cody, always a pleasure, my friend. Good luck at Vegas.
Thank you, brother.
Up next, we've got Michael J. Johnson bringing it home in second in the number 39 machine. Michael, it looked like you guys are battling hard, but that outside groove was working well for you. Is that something you planned on running here today or kind of developed as the tires got worn in?
No, not really. I was just trying to go where Matt wasn't at. It was going to be really hard to make the pass, so I just needed to try to go where he wasn't.
Now, I mean, we just got done with Bristol, a second place. Not a bad day at the racetrack for the number 39. How are you feeling going into Las Vegas as we get ready to open up that lobby?
I guess we'll see. I've not turned a lap yet.
Oh, famous last words. Fake it till you make it. Michael Johnson. Michael, I know time is short and you need to go get ready. Before I let you sign off, who would you like to give a shout-out to? Friends, family, sponsors. The floor is yours, my friend.
I got McConey set up shop on the truck this season, and all the guys at Keeping It Real Esports.
Well, Michael, always a great job. As always, my friend, good to see you up here in the podium booth consistently this season, and hope you do well at Vegas as well.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. And up next, man of the hour so far tonight, Matt Lee in the 04. Matt, it's good to have you back in the top spot on the podium.
Appreciate it, James. It's been a while.
It's been too long, my friend. Now, Matt, were you feeling pretty good coming into Bristol today, or what was the general sentiment going into tonight?
I knew it was really qualifying was going to make a big difference tonight. The way the truck races on old tires, it's kind of track position really seemed to be key.
Well, it seemed to work out well for you, especially with everyone, I won't say everybody, most of the guys coming on lap 50. Now, we saw some guys come in very late around the lap, I think it was 80 or 90 mark. Were you worried at all those guys with fresh tires are going to be able to cut through the field like we've seen you, Mccauley, Johnson do in the past? Or were you guys pretty comfortable having a big gap up to first place?
Yeah, I knew those guys were going to have to pass a lot of cars to get to us. I think if we'd have had a caution, they'd have come around 80. We'd have been in trouble for sure.
Well, it seemed like everything worked out well for you. Back on the top spot for the first time this segment, at least. I mean, you've got 3 top 5s and 4 starts, so not a bad season. Only 35 points behind Mccauley going into tonight's race. Now, how are you feeling going into Las Vegas? Is that a track you're pretty happy at, or what's the thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's going to really come down to tire strategy and stuff like that, kind of like this one, but I think that one's going to be a little more important just because you can run really hard at Vegas and you can almost stay wide open the first 10 laps usually. So it's going to be important, I think, to keep the tires under you and plan for the long run. And I think whoever plays the tire strategy right is probably going to walk away with a win there. So it's going to be a tricky one.
Well, as always, my friend, we wish you the best of luck. Good having you back up here in the podium room as well as the top spot it's been a couple weeks, but good to see the 04 back out front. Matt, before I let you sign off and get ready for Vegas, who would you like to give a shout out to? Friends, families, sponsors? The floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, big shout out to Martin Sports. Anyone looking for some racing gloves, jerseys, anything like that, check out martinsports906.com. All the guys at Team Lunatic, new team we just put together, McConey Setup Shop. You guys putting on another good race for us.
Always a pleasure, my friend. We'll let you go get ready for Vegas and hope to see you back up here.
Appreciate it.
That's Matt Lee winning the overall round one of the doubleheader here tonight at the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway. He's had a few weeks of hard luck, but he's back on top once more. So let's look forward to seeing what he can do, as well as the rest of the drivers for the FEG PC.net Truck Series. We're going to be taking a very short break. The lobby opens up for our racers in about 1 minute. They've got a 10-minute practice, a 5-minute qualifying, and then we should be starting this race within the next 10 to 15 minutes. So stick around. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, race fans, for the FEG PC Truck Series Round 2 of the doubleheader night. We're at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, as right now single car qualifying is underway. As we watch Tyler Millette in the number 27 machine clicks off his opening lap at 31.28, ties with Donald Ray. But here comes John Olette putting his number 062 on top of provisional pole. As, oh, we got something going on with the live timing there on the left side of your screen. I think we broke it, ladies and gentlemen. Olette clicks off a 21.29, unable to improve on his fastest lap of the race. It's Michael J. Johnson sitting on top of pole, and we've got a lot of other guys going out on track. Travis Anderson making his way out in the number 48 machine. And let's see what the drivers can do here today. This is a tough time for the night as they're switching up between two very different tracks. I mean, you go from Bristol, a half-mile high-banked concrete oval, to good old Las Vegas, a mile-and-a-half track that you can almost run wide open all the way around. It's going to take a different type of strategy. I believe this could be a fuel race for the competition. Again, they do run limited fuel, 65% fuel allotment for these NASCAR Gander Mountain trucks. And I'm fairly certain no fast repairs here as well. As we're watching, Anderson clicks off a 31.38, good enough for 18th. But right now it's Matt Lee sitting on top of provisional pole, McCauley second, Johnson third. Let's see who else has yet to put out a lap time. It looks like Pitts, Newbrough, Kaufman, and Burgess all not putting down times here today. Not sure if that's a strategy move or maybe something different. But we've got these guys ready to go out for 65 laps here today. Only about 30 seconds left in qualifying. As Stephen Page hanging out in pit road, number 1 machine after completing his qualifying. He was able to drop down to a 31.24, which was good enough for a 12th place provisional qualifying. Hanging out in the truck, thinking over his life choices before we go out for the main event. And that is going to bring qualifying down to a close. As we get ready to grid them up here today at Las Vegas. Let's take a look at the grid. Matt Lee starting first. Cody Mccauley starting second. Michael J. Johnson starting third. Brad Bothwell starting fourth. Tristan Bailey fifth. Chad Ross starting sixth. John Olette starting seventh. Brad Herman starting eighth. Jose Medina starting 9th. Jeffrey Ratke starting 10th. Eric Parks will be 11th on tonight's grid. Stephen Page starting 12th. Cycling it back to Jeremy Corr starting 13th. Brandon Barber starting 14th. Fan favorite Jay Dargert starting 15th. Adam Schoen starting 16th. Donald Ray starting 17th. Tyler Millette, who's got a whole lot of fans here in attendance, starting 18th. John Mollahan starting 19th. Martin starting 20th. Travis Anderson starting 21st. Matthew Curry starting 22nd. Buddy Pitt starting 23rd. Michael Newbrough starting 24th. Then you've got James Kaufman starting 25th. And Joe Burgess will round out the field here. 26 drivers making it out tonight out of the 30 we started with. as we get ready to send them out for 65 laps here at Las Vegas. What could very well be a fuel race for these drivers. As we're still waiting to get our drivers out on track, it seems like a couple of guys haven't made it out there. I believe it's going to be Brad Bothwell, the number 18 machine. He jumped back to pit lane. I'm not sure if he's making an adjustment on the number 18 machine or what may be going on, as he is going to have to start from the pit lane, as well as Joe Burgess, unable to make it out. But we're going to roll him back out. It's Cody Mccauley, Matt Lee on the front row. These guys just can't seem to get away from each other. Getting them all formed up, double file, about 15 rows deep here in round 2 of the doubleheader tonight. We were at Bristol, and now we're going to really switch it up here at Las Vegas for the mile-and-a-halfer. As the pace car is in, away they go. It's Matt Lee, and Michael J. Johnson makes an early move for second ahead of Cody Mccauley. Mccauley seems to be falling a little bit behind on the outside line as he slots in ahead of Tristan Bailey, the number 24 machine, but we are good to go green here at Las Vegas. 65 laps for the FEG PC Truck Series. Let's see what these guys can do. Up front, it's still Matt Lee getting about a quarter of a second advantage over Michael J. Johnson. And with Johnson, a lot of fast drivers. You've got McCauley, you've got Tristan Bailey, Chad Ross, Brad Herman, John Ouellette, Jeffrey Radke, Stephen Page, Jose Medina rounding out the top 10 here today. Matt Lee still holding on to the race lead, but here comes Johnson pushing up hard because he's got McCauley and Bailey that are trying to help set the pace, project themselves up to the front early on at Las Vegas. Again, 65 laps, a race that could very well be decided on pit strategy, as these guys are absolutely hauling the mail. Everybody's setting their fastest laps of the race as Lee cuts off a 31-12 out front. Not sure if Bailey, the number 24 machine, might have touched that outside wall. I believe he did, as he's falling down the standings here. Hopefully not getting too much aero damage on that machine, as he's going to drop all the way back to 7th in the Chevrolet. Up front, these guys are all over each other. McCauley looking for any sort of way around Johnson in second place. Not quite able to make it stick yet as they go side by side through 1 and 2 down the backstretch here at Las Vegas. McCauley looking to the outside line. He briefly showed ahead of Johnson, but Johnson's going to stay glued to the back bumper of Lee, your race leader. And look at this, McCauley's going to challenge for the lead, goes to the inside of Lee, makes it stick, slots up in front of the 04. So now it'll be Lee's turn to be the pusher at Las Vegas. And a very tight pack, I believe that's about 6 or 7 drivers. 6 drivers still right in the lead pack. They've got about 3/4 of a second over the second pack, led by Jeffrey Radke. That's Chad Ross in the number 38 machine. He wants in the mix with these leaders as well to try and put himself in possible podium contention. Behind Ross, you've got Herman and Ouellette going side by side. And what a packed field here today. We're going to cycle it back to 13th place as we saw a little bit 3-wide action with Jay Dargett involved in the number 57 machine. He's getting chased down by Brandon Barber, Donald Ray, while also trying to get up there to Jeremy Course, Tristan Bailey, and put his number 57 Marines back Chevrolet inside the top 10. Back up front, McCauley has just a tiny bit of room to breathe as he is about 1/10 of a second ahead of Lee. And these guys just running nose to tail. Going to be interesting to see what the fuel window is for these drivers as they hop down on the apron here at Vegas to try and make the track just a little bit smaller and make those trucks just a little bit faster. Getting a lot of support for Tyler Millett, the number 27 Ford F-150. He's currently 18th on track, running where he qualified, but it's a long race, and we've seen these races won or lost on strategy. So just because somebody's not inside the top 10 currently doesn't mean they're not going to have a chance at the end of the race. As you watch Ross and Herman going side by Subi. No, that's going to be Herman and Ouellette going side by side. Ross about 4/10 ahead of Herman. Running 4th place on track, number 38 machine. Watching to see what McCauley, Lee, and Johnson, your top 3 drivers, are going to do here. And maybe trying to keep the tires underneath them just a little bit more, planning for the long run. We've made it this far, and so far it's been clean and green. We've got racing all across the track. Ray picks up a spot from Tristan Bailey's number 24 machine to move his way up into 13th. Now he's going to try and catch Dargett in number 57. As somebody left a little bit of a racing stripe on the wall here at Vegas. This battle for 13th is intense. You've got Bailey, Ray, and Barber and Mullahan all in the mix here. Looks like Ray is going to get pushed wide. Bailey is going to move back to 13th. Barber is going to try and capitalize as well on the inside line. Ooh, a bit of a contact there between Ray and Bailey. Ray is in the number 5, the almost all-white machine. Bailey in the number 24 machine, the primarily black-painted Chevrolet. We're going to cycle it back up front. It's still Cody Mccauley leading the race, Matt Lee in tow. Johnson's lost a little bit of a time. He's about 3/10 of a second, caught about 1/4 of a second behind second place Matt Lee. We've had a couple of close moments so far tonight, but for the most part, everybody seems to be fairly happy running single file. But as the field stretches out, the tire wear comes into play, and it looks like the times are dropping a little bit. Excuse me. Mccauley and Lee, their last time by, clicked off 32.2s compared to a 30.9 was the fastest lap of the race set by Mccauley so far. It looked like Lee wanted to take a shot at Mccauley, not quite able to get up on the inside of him. Mccauley's last time by a 32.34 Lee with a 32.3. Now the problem these guys are going to be having, specifically Lee later on the run, is it is so tough to take a shot at your competition to try and pick up a position. Because if you do fall short and lose that time, when you're running such identical lap times, it can take 3-4 laps to get back into a striking position, assuming you still have the tire wear left to make any moves. We'll look a little bit further back in the field at John Mollahan and the number 2 machine. He is about 3/4 of a second back from Adam Schoen in 15, and about 2/10 ahead of Tyler Millette running 17. So that is the good thing about running such a professional series here at the FEG PC Truck Series. It doesn't matter if you're battling for first or battling for 15th. You'll have good, clean drivers all across the circuit to find someone to race with, and it's a lot of fun with these clean drivers. Look at that battle for 14th. That's between Tristan Bailey and Adam Schoen. Schoen looks to go to the outside into one carry. Can he carry more speed? No, that's Bailey on the outside line, Schoen on the inside. Schoen still glued to that inside line, unable to drift up the track to avoid getting into Bailey in the number 24 machine. And it looks like he's going to get him cleared here, while Schoen will still be about 7/10 of a second behind Donald Ray in 13. Cycle a little bit further back in the field. Michael Newbrough has made his way around Matthew Curry. James Kaufman also going to try to pick up a spot. This is the 3-truck battle for 20th. As here comes Kaufman looking to the inside of Curry. Not quite able to make it stick yet, coming out in the backstretch here at Las Vegas. Let's see what he does going into turn 3 and 4 in the Kaufman Farms back Chevrolet. Takes a peek at the tri-oval. Will he make it stick into turn 1 as Kaufman appears to have made the pass over Curry? He's going to make it stick, and he is up 4 spots so far up into 21st. John Millette leads a swarm of drivers. Millette running 15th. Behind him you got, Mullahan running 15th. John Mullahan running 15th. But he's going to get overtaken on the inside line by Tyler Millette. Behind Mullahan in 17th. You've also got Donald Ray and Brandon Barber running 18th within striking distance as well. Millette's going to try and slot up ahead of Mullahan. Not quite able to make it stick out of turn 2. He's going to try once more into 3. As they go side by side, this is the battle for 15th on your screen. You've got Mollett on the inside in the black and green, number 27. Ray in the number 2 in the primarily red Tide paint scheme. It looks like, no, see, that's Mullahan in the number 2. So Mullahan's going to hold on to it for a little while longer. And now Mollett's going to feel the pressure from both Barber and Ray, who are charging hard. We're going to check back in with our race leader, Cody Mccauley, who's got Matt Lee still on his rear bumper. Not sure if we're going to see any big moves here at this point in the fuel and tire run, or if it's going to be shortly after a possible green flag pit stop. You're going to see these guys duking it out. McCauley's last time by a 32.61, Lee clicked off a 32.59. And they have extended their lead over third place Michael J. Johnson to about a second here. Late in the fuel run. Gonna be interesting to see just how far these guys can go, or if they opt to come in at the halfway mark to take those fuel and tires. I believe they do have 2 sets of tires on standby here today for Las Vegas compared to the one we had at Bristol. Still McCauley up front, Lee close in tow. As we do have a few drivers coming down pit lane, Ross, Radke, Schoen, Millette, Ray, all coming down pit road on lap 29. Excuse me, lap 30. Page, Bailey, Parks, Barber, Mullahan also coming down pit road, as well as James Kaufman's number 25 machine. I would wager your top drivers here today are going to run it all the way empty before they decide to come in. But no, McCauley, Lee, Johnson, Herman. Let's see if Medina comes in as well. Are going to dive down pit road for what could be their one scheduled stop of the night. Jay Dargett, the fan favorite, the number 57, he opts to stay out for at least one more lap. Now, once Dargett makes his way around, we will be at the halfway mark tonight. And now, Dargett is going to dive down pit lane. McCauley did something a little bit different. He's in and out of his pit stall in 12.83 seconds compared to Lee, who's in and out in 14.6. Going to be interesting to see how that gamble works out for him, because Lee is right on the rear bumper of McCauley once more. Johnson and Mccauley saving some fuel the best way he can. Lee's fallen off just ever so slightly. And I think Lee's going to have company from Chad Ross and possibly Michael J. Johnson. Not sure if Lee's maybe going for a fuel strategy here or may have had something happen. As now Chad Ross doing everything in his power to take over second place. I almost wonder if this is the case of each driver not wanting to lead here. Maybe thinking it's going to be a fuel-saving game to make it to the end. As you're on board with Lee and the 04 machine, your current race leader. This is very interesting to see who's trying to push the hardest. I'm not quite sure what we're seeing here, ladies and gentlemen. I would have the wager it's a fuel-saving game. And just trying to avoid leaving the pack, possibly. So now it is Ross, your race leader. And he's going to have Lee and Mccauley in tow. I think we might be seeing Lee and Mccauley playing a fuel game here. As Lee will take over the race lead once more. Mccauley still hanging out about a half second behind your race leaders. I'm very intrigued on what's happening here today. If the guys are going to try and make it to the end, if we're going to see a fuel-saving game due to that, or if we're going to see a last-digit points race. So now Matt Lee out front. He's about 3/4 of a second ahead of Ross and about 1.6 seconds ahead of Mccauley. I'm wondering if Lee's just going to try and hammer down, but no, the caution comes out. That's going to allow these guys one final pit stop to run till the end. So actually I don't know if they're going to pit stop or if they're going to grab the clutches and try and make it as far as they can. As you listen on board to Matt Lee, I believe he's one of those drivers that will turn the truck completely off. And no, Lee's going to come down pit road, as well as Ross, McCauley, Johnson, Herman, Radke. We're going to try and get a look and see what may have happened to bring out that caution flag here. Not sure if it was Olette involved. Yes, Olette let the magic out of the number 62 machine. And could not get the clutch in time, and he's going to hit the inside wall and just didn't quite get that toe back in time. Looks like Lee only took fuel. Ross may have taken 2 tires. McCauley looks like he took 4 tires and a full tank of gas. And that will be our first caution of the night, about 42 laps into the second round of the doubleheader here tonight. As we see our lap down drivers get their wave arounds, as well as the lucky dogs. A couple drivers still in front of your race leader, Matt Lee. Expecting them to get the wave around when it's 1 to go. That's going to be the number 24 of Tristan Bailey. And the number 18, I believe, of Brad Bothwell, waiting for their wave around. Now Lee with that very short pit stop, I'm wondering if he underfueled the truck or what he may have did to try and save some weight possibly. As I'm not entirely sure why would you want to go for a quick stop when you're the race leader. Maybe he does value track position more than anything. But we're going to get them formed up, double file. Let's see what they do. It's going to be Lee and Ross on the front row, McCauley and Johnson your second row, and then Herman and Radke making up our third row. Pace car is in. Away we go for 21 laps left to go here at Las Vegas. And already the field is getting a bit wild. Lee out front. McCauley moves his way back into second ahead of Ross, who has slipped down the standings back to fourth. Behind Ross, you've got, I believe that's going to be Johnson and Radke going side by side. No, I think it's going to be Johnson and Parks, maybe? Johnson and Ross going side by side. Looks like Johnson's going to hold on to that fourth place spot ahead of Chad Ross, number 38 machine. But things are getting a little bit rowdy towards the back as we've seen a lot of 2 and 3 wide action. Speaking of 2 wide, look up front. It's Cody Mccauley trying to make an outside pass on Matt Lee. We believe Mccauley took 4 tires on that pit stop. Lee did not. That's also going to allow Brad Herman, number 85 machine, to slide into second place. Johnson's going to make a pass for third. Not sure if he can make it stick as he's going to follow the Congo line and pick up the draft of the top 2 drivers, Mccauley and Herman. We've only got 18 laps left to go here at Las Vegas. We are fairly certain that everyone can make it on fuel at this point in the race. As your current top 5 is Mccauley, Herman, Johnson, Lee, and Radke. Herman, he's up 6 spots from where he started, making his way up to second so far. Radke in 5th place, he's up 5 spots. But it looks like Johnson trying to find a way around Herman, the number 85 machine. It looks like our top 4 drivers all took tires on that final stop. As here comes the battle for second. Johnson sliding up the inside of Herman in the 85 machine. Johnson on the inside, Herman on the outside, the left side of your screen. As they huck it through the tri-oval, it looks like Herman's carrying a little bit more speed on that outside line, but he's not going to be able to tip in as Johnson will be the defensive driver here in number 39. It's Toyota currently running 1 and 2 with a Chevrolet. I take it back. Johnson gets edged out once more by Herman. Herman, the lone Chevrolet inside the top 5. In a sea of Toyotas, it is Herman in the number 85 machine doing what he can in the Chevrolet. Your race leader, Mccauley's got to be happy with these 2 drivers battling for second. That's going to give him a little bit more chance to breathe, put his head down, hit his marks without worrying too much about battling. As Herman and Johnson still side by side coming on to the backstretch here in Las Vegas. They're going to make their way around lap traffic. That's Brad Bothwell, number 18 machine, I believe, coming back out of pit lane, getting some more repairs done on his machine. Herman's going to hold on to second place over Johnson. And see if he can crawl his way up back to battle with Cody Mccauley, who is currently 0.2 of a second ahead of second place Brad Herman. Other notable hard chargers here today, Michael Newbrough in the number 6 machine. He's up 16 spots just ahead of Matt Lee and Tyler Millette. Now Lee, I'm thinking, is probably kicking himself with that tire strategy here today, as he has dropped from first all the way back to 10th, opting to take either no tires, only 2 tires on that final pit stop. With 12 laps left to go, he's got to be praying for a late race caution. It's going to be 10 laps left to go. Next time they cross the line, Mccauley still has Herman breathing down his neck. And oh no, another caution comes out. And fan favorite Jay Dargert is driving down the course backwards. Let's see what happened. Ooh, Ooh, Dargert gets a little bit of help from his friends. Let's try and grab a different angle there. Let's back that one up, because I can't quite tell what on earth happened. So you got Dargert side by side with the number 5 of Donald Ray, as well as Chad Ross and the number 38 machine. And unfortunately, I think Dargert just came up into Ray's lane. That's also going to collect Chad Ross pretty heavily in the number 38 machine. Two good friends, unfortunately, have wadded up into each other. And we're going to watch one more camera angle, because I want to watch this onboard view of Jay Dargert at 457. Goes for a wild ride. And that is not the view you want to see at any sort of raceway. A textbook J-turn, though, by Jay Dargert. Our top 5, most of our top 5 drivers opting to stay out. Mccauley first, Herman second, Johnson third. You've got Radke fourth. Jose Medina's come out of nowhere. He's made his way inside the top 5. Matt Lee, Chad Ross, Parks, Kors, Bailey, Ray, Dargert, Kaufman, all coming down pit road. Bothwell and Pitts does the same. So we are about to see a final shootout here in Las Vegas. Tyler Millett's worked his way inside the top 10 into 9th place, able to keep his nose clean in the number 27. Let's see what's going to happen. This is going to be all sorts of interesting. We're going to get them gridded back up. It's Mccauley and Herman on the front row. Johnson and Radke on the second row, but Johnson has a little bit of connectivity issues there. And then it is Medina and Schoen in the third row. Going to take the drivers a little bit longer to get gridded up. Will be 1 to go this time by. It'll be 6 laps to go at the line for the final shootout here in Las Vegas. As we get ready to go green for possibly the final time here tonight. It's been quite the evening at the doubleheader. We start off with Bristol, and now we're going to end it at Las Vegas. Who's going to bring it home? Is it Cody Mccauley in the number 62 machine? It could be Brad Herman, Jeffrey Radke. So many fast guys still within the top 10. Or it could be one of the drivers that came in a lap 56 for a final set of tires for a last hurrah, trying to blast through traffic. We will soon find out as the green flag flies. Mccauley gets a great launch. It looks like Johnson may pick up a spot early on from Brad Herman. As Johnson's worked his way back up to second, Herman's in third, Radke fourth, Medina in fifth. And now Johnson's going to take a shot at it early on, going side by side with Mccauley through 3 and 4. Johnson's going to try and play defensive to hold that inside line. Because you can see at the corner of your screen, Mccauley is charging hard through 1 and 2. What a great camera angle for the battle for the lead. Now Brad Herman in the number 85 machine. Oh, he's going to get into Johnson. The caution won't fly. That's going to allow Radke to move up to second. Herman's still in third. Lee has worked his way back into fourth. No caution here tonight, even though they go careening around. The caution has got to fly now. As what a shakeup. I believe that was Michael Newbrough that we saw careening through the infield. Newbrough in the 6 gets into, not quite sure who it was originally on the outside line, gets hooked and bounces back into the racetrack, and they go pinballing around as John Mullahan and Brad Bothwell also involved with that. Let's take another look. ARCA brakes in full effect. And they are doing their best to keep crashing. Let's see what happens to Brad Bothwell. Bothwell, number 18 machine, takes a big, hard hit. And that may have let all the smoke out of his motor as he pulls back into the racetrack in front of the number 2 machine of John Mullahan. Mullahan just gets absolutely collected. Nowhere to go. That is slightly embarrassing for the field. Let's see what happens to Mullahan. Gets through the wreck. I mean, he's damaged. But the number 18 just swerves up on the track. I'm not quite sure what that was. If that was malicious or what that could have been. We're going to watch once more. Actually, I'll take it back. We're going to back it up a little bit further and see what happened. We're going to back it up. You're currently watching Brad Bothwell on the number 18 machine. I'm not quite sure where the bad blood came from between the number 18 of Bothwell and the number 2, or if he just completely didn't touch the brakes coming back out onto the track. Again, you're watching Bothwell, the number 18 machine on the inside line. He's behind the number 26. Just gets pinched off from the 26. Bounces across the inside wall, gets hit once more by the number 26 of Buddy Pitts. Let's watch the wheel here. Oh, just yanks it hard right back into traffic. Absolutely inexcusable. He drove straight back into the race line. Can't say I've seen that one before. We've seen drivers purposely bring out cautions, drivers try and maybe bump a friend and make it look like an accident, but that was a rough one. So this is going to put us into overtime conditions, green-white checker conditions. This is going to be Cody Mccauley, Jeffrey Radke on the front row. Herman and Lee the second row. Johnson and Schoen your third row. And this will be the third caution of the night. As my, oh my, what a night it has been. Bristol had its fair share of cautions, but it seems like the cautions are breeding cautions in typical fashion here at Las Vegas. Notable hard chargers going into the final restart. Jeffrey Radke's up 8 spots now into second. Adam Schoen up 10 spots into 6th. Matthew Curry up 11 spots into 11th. Tyler Millett up 9 spots into 9th. A lot of guys having a good bit of luck here today. But look at this, Matthew Lee on the second row. He took tires on lap 56. Compared to the drivers around him, for the most part, all came on lap 42. So maybe that last, this last caution may serve him well. Away we go for the final time. It's Mccauley out front, Radke second. Here comes Lee around the outside line trying to get around Radke. He's got the newer tires. He's going to have enough time to do anything with it. As they go side by side, you're on board with Radke. And look on the right side. Here comes Lee trying to catch up to Mccauley. The white flag will fly this time by, assuming we don't have a crash here before the leaders cross the line. It looks like they're going to get it now. We're going to see a battle for the lead as Matt Lee is going to go down the inside line of Mccauley. It's Lee on the inside in the 04, Mccauley on the outside, the number 62. The new tires and a late race caution may have just won this race for Matthew Lee. As Mccauley trying to get up to the bumper of the 04 machine. Just not going to have what it takes, and it's going to be Matt Lee at the line. Cody Mccauley second, Jeffrey Radke third. In an extremely close race that was ultimately decided by cautions and tires here today. Matthew Lee in the 04 is going to make it back-to-back at the doubleheader. And Matt Lee's going to burn it down the 04 machine as we're getting our drivers up here into victory lane. But Matt Lee's got to feel good to be back and out on top. He had a rough start in segment 3, but he's going to make it a 2 in a row here tonight at Las Vegas. What a great run all the way around. Let's go ahead and get our drivers up here in Victory Lane. Up first, we've got Jeffrey Radke, number 51 machine. Jeffrey, a wild night. How are you feeling bringing home a third so far here?
Pretty excited. I didn't expect it, but held on and ended up podium finish.
Now, did you, come in tonight, everybody was kind of apprehensive. We start off at Bristol, a really tough half miler, and then we go straight to Las Vegas. Was that a tough change for you to make as a driver with two different, very different tracks, or what was the general feeling coming into this second round tonight?
I was pretty prepared for both. I had some bad luck at Bristol, so I felt like I had to redeem myself at Vegas.
Well, it seems like it worked well for you, picking up a podium and some much-needed points. I mean, you've got to be pumping number 51 machine. Who would you like to give a shout-out to, friends, family, sponsors that helped you get here tonight, Jeffrey?
First and foremost, my wife. Second, Jeff, for putting it on every week and giving me something to do.
Well, always a pleasure talking to you, Jeff. Good job on a third here tonight. We'll let you go celebrate with the rest of the hooligans.
Thanks, James.
That's Jeffrey Radke bringing it home in third. Up next, we've got Cody Mccauley. Put on a spectacular show here tonight, getting a second and having a great points night here, Cody. But did what happened out there today? What switched things up for you?
Well, we found some speed running that top, and it showed early. We were able to get up front, lead a lot of laps, and then everybody cycled through green flag pit stops. Kind of had to find a way to save some fuel, so started playing with that. Did some different stuff. The truck didn't really like trying to save fuel, especially getting back in dirty air. And then there at the end, we all come down and got 4 tires, and old Matt Lee did not. And so when he was able to put 4 new ones on about 10 laps later, it really showed there at the end. We got out strategy tonight. That's all it was. He put 4 fresh tires on and was able to come there at the end. So nothing we can do about that. Just got to move on, go to next week.
Shaking things up a little bit of the points chase. I believe you should still have a points lead leaving tonight at Las Vegas, but you guys are going to absolutely be putting on a good show throughout segment 3 if this is anything to show. Now, next week we go to Texas for the Texas 100, 100 laps around the Speedway. Is that a track you're pretty comfortable at, or what's the general feeling going into Texas?
Yeah, man, Texas is fun. It's similar to what we saw at Vegas here tonight, a little bit smoother. Don't have to quite manhandle the truck as much, but should still be fun. A lot of drafting, a lot of head games. So we're just gonna keep going and see if we can't play some strategy and get old Matt T one of these days.
Well, looking forward to some more great action between you two. Cody, I know your sponsors are getting all sorts of love tonight, but once again, please remind me who's supporting you in the number 62 machine.
No doubt, man. Delta 9 PA. Check them out on Instagram, guys. 62 Designs on Facebook. We'll hook you up with paint schemes. Everybody over at 62 Designs Racing. Big shout out to Carl tonight on top of the box. So far, his worst finish on the box is third, so I ain't mad at it. You know what I'm saying? We might keep him around for a little while.
No doubt. Cody, a great time talking to you as always, man. Looking forward to seeing you at Texas and hope to see the great luck continue.
Appreciate it, bud.
And up next, we've got the man of the hour. When he comes back strong. Matt Lee making it 2 in a row here tonight for the doubleheader. You've got to be ecstatic trying to get some momentum back in the 04 machine.
Oh, without a doubt. We got a lucky break with the caution there like we were hoping. Saved that set of tires just for that situation. So, yeah, it was a little hairy not thinking it was going to come, but we got lucky.
Now, I know you were a bit apprehensive to see if we were going to get that final late race caution. Now, did that very final caution really help you out stacking the field up? Because I know it can be a little bit wild in these truck races having to be the driver that cuts through the field. So how did that go for you with that final caution coming out?
I knew it gave me a really good shot with that late race caution just because of how much faster I was versus those guys. At first, I was kind of like, I didn't know if I wanted to see it because I was rolling really well through there. And, he was only like a second and a half ahead of me. And I think we had like 4 or 5 to go when we got that caution. So I think I could have cut it down there and it had been a last lap pass probably. But, it was just the tires meant the world there.
Well, Matt, I'm very glad it worked out well for you. It's good to see you back on the top spot in the 04 machine. I know your sponsors probably aren't sick of hearing it, but who would you like to give a shout-out to, friends, family, sponsors, that's cheering and supporting you on in the 04 machine this season?
Yeah, I got to definitely thank Scott over at Martin Sports again. Anyone looking for some gloves or any jerseys, racing apparel, anything you're looking for, hit him up at martinsports906.com. The guys at Shenandoah Shine, McConey Set Up Shop, and all the guys at Lunatic. Love these dudes, and it's really good to get these guys in victory lane first night with a belt on the truck.
Well, Matt, great job as always, man. Congratulations. Hope to see you do well at Las Vegas. And once again, thank you for your time, my friend.
I appreciate it. Thank you for everything, man.
Always a pleasure, sir. And that, my friends, across the world is going to do it for the FEG PC Truck Series, the doubleheader. It's Matt Lee in the 04 machine making it back-to-back in one night. He wins at Bristol. He wins here in Las Vegas. Let's see what he can do going into Texas as the points chase is going to really heat up between Lee and Mccauley. There is not going to be much that separates these two, and hopefully this battle continues throughout the season. As always, on behalf of FEGPC.net, the leading provider of desktops with sim enthusiasts in mind, I'm James East with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. We will see you next week for more action at Texas. Have a great night, everyone.